Welcome to Picture Book Drama, where it is everything in entertainment. I am your host, Sean, your video and comic guru, and welcome to the final chapters of our 31 Days of October, where Halloween will be highlighted in its finest. These are movies that I love so much. If you notice, I've actually had a couple different movies in the genre, but this is possibly the favorite in my selection. That movie came out in 1981, and at that time, I actually did get a chance to see it in the theater. I was with my older brother, and I remember there was a certain scene that is the most famous scene in the movie that made me hide my ass off. That movie was The Howling. This movie came out again in 1981, directed by Joe Dante. You may know him from other movies. I'll actually give you a little bit of showcase on those a little bit later. But he was an unknown at this point. He was doing like the piranha type movies and stuff like that. But this movie actually made him the guy that everyone knows that we love so much. He had a great story in this film. He had the greatest cast you can ever have. I mean, Dee Wallace, who was at that time known for The Hills Have Eyes, and she later did Cujo. She did a lot of horror film, even though she did not like horror films. And at the time, she was actually married to her co-star in the film, Christopher Stone. So you may know her as Dee Wallace Stone. He did pass not long after the movie came out, but they actually did star in this film together. But the co-stars in this film actually were some of the TV and movies' greatest actors. You had John Carradine from The Grapes of Wrath. I mean, yeah, later on he picked some bad films. He even played Dracula at one point. But, Slim Pickens was in the film. You had Patrick McNee. I mean, come on, Steve from, Avengers. You guys gotta know that. And then you had Kevin McCartney, who was in, you saw him in my greatest hits, the classic horror films one. He was the star of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. So, I mean, you have all these people in this film, and it just, I mean, it was beautiful. I mean, this film had everything I wanted in it. It scared the hell out of me. I mean, it had a lot of humor, a lot more humor than people realize. That movie actually controlled the horror with comedy. And Joe Dante actually went on from doing this film, and he actually ended up doing Gremlins. Gremlins actually was an 80s staple. I mean, I remember seeing this, and it was pretty funny when I saw it, but he had that one scene with the spider, the gremlin spider. That movie at that point scared the crap out of me. But it also had Phoebe Cates in this film. What was Phoebe Cates from? Hit me down below. Let me know what iconic teen 80s movie was she in. She had a really classic pool scene. But he did, that, and that led to Gremlins 2. But, I mean, no matter what, The Howling's where it is. I mean, this film is classic in its storytelling. It's very straightforward, but it had a lot of depth to it. Another movie, which I don't have at the time, came out that was called Wolfen. Now, that film had Gregory Hines in it. It was, it was a good movie, and eventually I will get it and I will review it for you guys. But it had big wolves in it. This had people transforming into fucking werewolves. I love that. And they showed it to you. It's the first time where it wasn't someone sitting, still and them putting makeup on them. You saw the guy's face transform. They put these bladders under his face, and they would just pump air into it. And that's how they got the face to move. And anytime one of them would pop, in the editing room, they would just put a bone crack over it. So, I mean, that's what I remember when I was a kid. That scene where Eddie's face was transforming and the bone cracking. Even when I hid my face, I could hear the bone cracking. At that point, that movie was the scariest werewolf film I ever seen. And everything else had to live up to this. Let me know what you guys think. Have you seen any of the movies I showed you here? What do you think about The Howling? To me, this is just one of the best films out there. Hit me up on Facebook. Talk to me on Twitter. Hit me up down below on the comment section. Hit me up. Let me know where you guys are at. I'm Sean, your video and comic guru. This is The Howling. Peace.